Now what we're about to walk you through is the actual way in which you complete something. Like now we're about to talk step by step by step, what is required in the planning phase. Like what does that look like? Now here's what's crazy, see? I'm doing exactly what I envisioned to do. But here's what's ironic. C's vision, I didn't have a necessary vision, right? So C had the vehicle. Like C was like, you're gonna be #1 in the world. That's the vehicle. And that vehicle has gotten me exactly where I wanted to be, right? Y'all gotta understand what I'm saying. Actually, by making me a household name, it is easier to help people academically, personally, and professionally. If you go back and look at my mission statement that I wrote back in the day, it was to help people academically. Why? Because I had struggled in school. Personally, because I made some real bad decisions with my parents when I left home, right? And personally, because I felt like anybody know ET, you know, I don't teach you professional development or personal development. That's what my life is, right? So what's crazy is CJ making us into a household name. Carl in those videos and people like, yo, ET, do that when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, that video guru boy. So guess what that allows me to do? Hit any school I want to now. I can go to any city and go to any high school. I can go to any juvenile city. I can go to any prison. Like there are not many places I can't go. I can do NFL, NBA. And what can I do? I can help them personally grow. I can help them in their profession to go 120. And kids in school, I can help them academically. So see, that was always my goal. All y'all did was put me in a position where I can do it on my own terms now. And I can make money from doing it. But where did I take you? I took you to schools. I have literally blown up. And guess what, y'all? I'm doing more schools now than I probably did when we was first trying to do schools to make money. You feel me? What else? Church. I was taking y'all to churches. What are we doing? Same thing. We got our own now. You feel me? Nothing has changed. They had the vision. They had a tool that they were going to use. But all they're doing by making me #1 in the world is I have the pick of the litter now. Man, somebody better hear what I'm saying. Reason why you can't do what you're doing because you suck. The reason why you can't do what you're doing because you average. That's why you can't. Me and you the same thing. We got dreams and goals. By them making me #1, now I have the pick of the litter. I can go wherever I want and do whatever I want. All right, now let's talk about the plan, right? And I'm gonna throw both of them in the mix because I need you to be able to see step by step by step. All right, so in one of our Sunday calls, Mustafa mentioned the habits of the most successful men in the world. One of the dudes that he mentioned was Warren Buffett. And he said that Warren Buffett blew up, not with selling products. He blew up. When you watch all the top dudes, none of them was on products. What you discover is that they all blew up investing in other people's products, right? None of them, because everybody was trying to find out what's the biggest product seller that he had. He don't have none. Carl, I looked up Jay-Z's, like, not net worth, but when he became a billionaire, I looked at whatever. I ain't see nothing about rapping. I saw him amass a fortune, Carl, through artwork. I gotta clear my mind of some stuff, but when I get up there, I gotta do what I gotta do. Why? Because success is not a failing. It's a mindset. I need you to clear your mind of every single thing that's in it that's stopping you from being successful. The first one is what everybody else thinks. One, here's what I need y'all to do for me. I only need you to worry about what one person thinks. Right? I know this is gonna blow some of y'all mind. But why is it that your parents, great human beings, great character, they're not entrepreneurs? How is it that they can make you feel bad about something that you're doing that they know absolutely nothing about? No, you think I'm playing when I say one. I mean it. You got to be on one accord. So whatever the 10 principles or the 20 principles or the 30 principles, if you're not going to do all the principles that he's doing, if you're not going to have mindset he has, you're not going to be able to get the stuff. You're not going to be able to do you can't do 50-50. It's not a 50-50 split. You can't decide I'm going to do this part, but I'm not going to do this part. Does that make sense? That's what I mean about being on one accord.
No, when I say one accord, I mean if I get slapped right here, I gotta let you slap me over there. I'm from Detroit, Chicago originally. I wasn't raised like that. But once I decided that the good book was going to be my guide, if you smack me here and tell me, let me smack you there. It's no 50-50. It's not you smack me here, but no, I don't follow this part. I don't do this part. Like, okay, I'm good, but not this part. You ain't gonna let nobody smack me. They smack me, I'm smacking them back. It's not eye for an eye too. That's not what it is. You better hear what I'm saying. I don't care how much money I make. The good book says I'm supposed to return the tithe. So I return the tithe, then I bless the church with a little bit more money. Then I bless other. It's not a 50-50. I don't get to choose which parts I like and which parts I don't. And some of you are not successful because you picking and choosing. All right, I'm gonna say it again. I'm saying like you didn't really like that part. I'm gonna say it one more time. Some of you are not successful not because you can't do this business. Number one, you're listening to people who have no business in your ear. Stop. It works. It works. High school dropout, America, it works if you work it. You can have and be and do whatever you want. I told you, I got a coach. I had to pay to learn how to listen. Okay, you missed that one. That's a bonus. No, you missed that. I had to get a coach to teach me to stop going this way and stop going this way and follow what I'm told. Okay, I'm gonna say it one more time. I had to get, how many of you honestly, you don't have a coach? Raise your hand, be honest. You don't have a coach. Be honest, raise your hand. You don't have a coach. You need a coach to teach you how to get people out your ear. You need a coach to teach you how to go even when you don't feel like going. You need a coach to make you wake up and think about your family. You need a coach to help you get, please listen to me. Nothing is impossible. That's a mindset. Write this down. I need to do something serious about my limiting beliefs. I want you to take this word out of your vocabulary. I shouldn't even say it, but some of you have it, so I have to say it. Write it down on your phone, please. I need you to replace fear with faith. No more fear. Jim Rohn said, all of us, we got the same ending. We're gonna die. So if you know you're going to die, why are you playing it safe? Like if you know you're gonna die, why are you listening to other people tell you about your life? If you're gonna die, why don't you live your own life? Man, that's what I loved about my grandma. She drove until she was 89 years old. She died in her own home. She didn't die nowhere else. My grandma lived her life on her terms. My grandma got her hair done every 2 weeks. She still was getting her hair done. She was still going and getting massaged. She was still going to get manicure and pedicure. With the little money she had, she lived life on her terms. And guess what? There were some people in my family that didn't like the fact that she lived life on her terms and didn't care what they thought. But you know what? She died on her terms. You're going to die anyway. Don't die on your grandma's terms. You're going to die anyway. Don't die on your friend's terms. You're going to die anyway. Don't die on your parents' terms. If you're going to die, die on your own terms.
I mean, if you're not where you want to be, it's an adjustment you have to make, not an adjustment somebody else has to make. So the first thing I want you to realize is that your mindset, right? Your mindset is the reason why you're not where you're supposed to be. All right, it's your mindset. There's something in your mainframe that's wrong for this particular time. Now, what does that mean? Because some of us we so married to where we've been. We so married to where we come from. So what am I telling you? As I've moved, my success has come from shifting the mindset where I was to the mindset where I was trying to go. You cannot be a part of change or going to the next level if you still respect where you come from too much. All right? We're going to break this down for a minute because this is important. I could have been blew up. Let me tell you something that I'm realizing now. Of all the things that God wants us to have, money is the easiest one. Money, it is so easy to make 6 figures. It is so easy in this world to make 7 figures. It's easy. Like, it's not difficult. But what makes it difficult is that many of us are trying to go to a 6-figure, 7-figure life without going to a 6-figure, 7-figure mindset. You're trying to keep your exact same mindset and go into a different realm, and it's not possible. And the hardest thing you will ever do is change your mindset. Once you change your mindset, everything else is easy. So there are certain thought patterns you have that no matter how hard you try to get 6-figure, 7-figure, you'll never be able to go there because a part of being a CEO is being vulnerable. So if you're a person
who wants everything already together, already fixed, already made, you can't be a successful entrepreneur. Because an entrepreneur, I think vulnerability is probably one of the greatest things we have to deal with. It's our money we spend it, it's our time we spend it, and once we put it in there, we don't know for sure it's gonna work or not. I'm working on a book, right? And the young lady, and as I'm going through with her, she was like, Eric, the hardest part about working with you is that you don't have a demographic. Imagine the kid that was 13, 14. Imagine man, I wish y'all would have met me. I wish y'all would have met me at 21, 22, 23 with the full daishiki boy. They think I'm playing. I don't know where she at. When I first got to Michigan State, they're like, bro, you gonna have to calm down. I'm talking about, I'm coming to class with the Malcolm, with the looking through the window like what? And I'm talking about any means necessary, right? But you look at me now, and the work that I do is global. And it didn't become global because I became a better speaker. It became global because I started tearing down some of the paradigms. And so what I'm trying to tell you is, you can attract the female, you can attract the male, you can attract the business, you can attract whatever you want to attract, but you're going to tear it down if you had the same mindset. And even in my marriage, my wife would just argue year after year after year. Why are you so paranoid? Like, why do you think I'm against you? Like, why would you be married to me, but yet you don't trust me? And I said, yo, I never realized it. I got to go back to therapy. I was like, sweetheart, it's not that I don't trust you. I don't trust my mom. That's a paradigm. So if I don't trust my mom and I married you, my mom is the highest human on earth to me. How am I going to trust you if I don't trust my mom? And I don't trust my mom because she lied to me about who my father was. And I don't trust my mom because she told me she was going to tell me when I was 18 that we was going to talk about it. But I was like, Ma, you didn't. You let other people talk to me about it. You let other people tell me. So they told me their story. I never got your story. And so now I'm messed up because if you can't trust your mama, you can't trust no human on earth. And so now God is like, you got to fix that. You can't be going in these environments. I'm blessing you with all this stuff. You're going to lose everything. The highest thing in the world is trust. You don't trust people. So when my wife said, you paranoid, I am. I'm paranoid because the person that I loved the most, that I had the closest relationship to, lied to me about who my father was. And then when I discovered who he was, meaning that I know my grandma, I know my aunts, I know my uncles, I know my family, I thought he was a friend of the family, then my mom put me in a situation where if you go after a relationship with him, then you'll lose the one you have with me. But I want you to pay attention to what I'm doing. I want you to pay attention to what I'm saying. And then in your own world, I want you to do it, right? So I want you to look at the people that you look up to in your world. Look up to those people who you feel like, man, in this area, they got it. I don't have that area. And I want you to actually physically write down everything that they're doing. There are things that we do that aren't right, but because we do it, we feel like it's right. There are ways that we think, behaviors that we have. It's not right. It's not productive. It's not helping you and your family. It's not helping you personally. It's not helping you spiritually. It's not helping you make money. But you're not objective because it's you feel like it's okay. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And I want y'all to get to the point where you are mature enough to say that even though it does not feel good, even though I don't like it, even though it's not something that I want to do, I can't keep doing what I feel because it's not going to take me where I'm trying to get to. I have to be factual. All I have to do is emulate these characteristics. And if I can emulate these characteristics, I'm going to be successful. When I got in that room, I was okay with probably being the dumbest when it comes to economics. And I was able to sit back and ask some questions and learn. And when I left that room, I went to a whole nother level. Write that down. I will no longer bring my feelings to business. Good communication is the bridge between confusion and clarity.